Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I will provide you the summary of all the poems of English class 11. The first poem is A Photograph. The poem A Photograph contrasts the eternal state of nature and the transitory state of human beings. The poet describes a photograph that captures interesting moments of her mother's childhood when she went for a sea holiday with her two girl cousins. The poet draws a contrast between nature changing at a snail's pace and the fast changing human life. The poet recollects how her mother laughed at the photograph and felt disappointed at the loss of her childhood joys. The sea holiday was her mother's past at that time, while her mother's laughter is the poet's past now. With great difficulty and at different periods of time, both reconcile with their respective losses and the pain involved in recollecting the past. For the poet, the death of her mother brings great sadness and an acute sense of loss. The painful silence of the situation leaves her with no words to express her grief. Thus, the silence silences her. The three stanzas of the poem depict three different stages of life, that is, early adolescence, girlhood, adulthood, and death. Second poem is The Laburnum Top. On a bright September afternoon, the laburnum, a short tree with hanging branches and a yellow flowers, stood soundless and motionless. A few leaves that had yellowed and some seeds lay scattered around it. Just then, all of a sudden, a small singing bird with yellow feathers on its wings, the goldfinch, arrived, chirping. She entered the foliage like a lizard, smooth, watchful, and hasty. As she entered, the tree suddenly seemed to come alive. It started up like a machine. There were shrill sounds of twittering, and the tree seemed to quiver with joy. The mother bird was like the engine of her family, like an engine. She added life to the tree and flitted from branch to branch, showing her stripped face with yellow and black markings that were peculiar to her. Then, with a mysterious low whistle, she flew off into the sky. Once again, the laburnum quietened down as it was before her arrival. Third poem is The Voice of the Rain. The Voice of the Rain celebrates rain and the accompanying water cycle that supports life and benefits the earth. The poet recounts a conversation he had with the falling raindrops. He asks the rain, "And who art thou?" And strangely the rain answers, calling itself the poem of earth. The rain says that it is born in the form of intangible vapors that rise eternally from the earth's land and deep water bodies. It then reaches upward towards heaven in the form of clouds, impalpable, vaguely formed, and altogether changed. Yet, it at its core, it remains the same as it was at birth. It then returns to its origin, the earth, as raindrops to wash away the dust and rejuvenate the drought-ridden and dry land. The poet compares the rain to a poem song. A song is born in the hearts of a human, and after giving pleasures and joy to one and all, come back to the creator in the form of appreciation. Similarly, rain originates from the earth, and the bottomless sea soars up to the heaven, taking the forms of cloud, and comes down to give joy to its birthplace, earth, and make it clean, pure, and beautiful. Fourth poem is Childhood. In the poem Childhood, Marcus Nathan depicts the reality of childhood innocence gradually transforming into the adult rationality, hypocrisy, and individuality. The poem begins with the poet wondering, when did his childhood go? Was it the day he ceased to be 11? Was it the day when he could distinguish between fantasy and reality by realizing that heaven and hell don't exist since they are not found in geography books? Was it the day when he could understand the hypocrisy of adults by realizing that people were not all that they pretend to be? Or was it the day when he became conscious of his own growing individuality by realizing that he had a mind of his own and that he was capable of producing thoughts and opinions that were different from other people? In the final lines, the poet concludes the speculations in his mind regarding his lost childhood. He now tries to understand where his childhood has gone. Though he is not aware of the day he lost his childhood, he knows that it has gone to some forgotten place that is on the face of an infant. The poet believes that though his childhood has become a memory for him, it has become a reality for some other child. Childhood is a cyclic process where it leaves one person and goes to another. Fifth poem is Father to Son. Father to Son describes the troubled relationship between a father and his son. The poem talks about generation gap between the father and the son and voices the father's pain and helplessness in failing to understand his child. The father wants to the same kind of bond with his son as he had when the son was a little child, but now silence is what surrounds their relationship and there is a complete lack of communication between them. Though they have lived in the same house for years, they behave as strangers. The father sees his son as the prodigal son, who would soon return to his father's house, which was once his very own. The father is unable to understand why, in his grief, he becomes angry with his son. As there is still love between both of them, they try to find out a way to resolve their differences, but that seems futile. Elizabeth Jennings says that fathers and sons all over the world should learn to live on the same globe and same land. The poem talks about the universal problem, lack of communication, understanding. So these are the summaries of all the poems. I hope you like the video. Thank you. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में.